Hello and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for February 2nd to the 9th, 2024. I invite you to close your eyes and take 3 nice deep breaths with me. Dropping into these beautiful bodies and bringing our energies into alignment across time and space so that we can co-create the reading for this week for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I invite you to take a moment to just imagine a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine to ground you into this present moment, as well as provide you with a conduit through which anything that no longer serves can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children, about to do a reading for our personal and collective highest and greatest good for this week of February 2nd to the 9th, 2024. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive right now, and to provide this in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our well-being and our good, and the well-being and good of all those we love and care about. At this time, I'd like to invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange, ensuring that it happens in the highest and the best way possible, and that it covers all that is in our personal and collective heart and mind at this time to our satisfaction in this window that we have together here today. I'd also like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, holding us together in a circle of light across time and space. Wherever you are part of this circle. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Ariel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. We set the tone for ease, for clarity, for wisdom, for upliftment, for kindness and consideration. We set the tone for whatever it is that is uppermost in our hearts and minds, that is congruent with love and light, peace and well-being. And anything that doesn't match these frequencies and intentions is welcome to go now. And so we are. Let's get going. Okay. So, Creator, what is it that we most need to know for this week, February 2nd to the 9th, 2024? All kinds of interesting things happening on the planet, but that is par for the course at this time in our evolution. And we have cards throwing themselves out of the deck at us. See if they turn up again. So that we can be most empowered and aligned in our hearts and minds within ourselves, so that we are completely congruent and harmonious and balanced within, as well as bringing our best to life. Creator, what is it that we most need to know this week for our good and the good of those we love, our communities, and the world at large? Okay, we are starting with the Temperance card, a card of balance, card of not overdoing things, a card of being wise about our energy, our attention, and our resources. We have this human who's standing here receiving the water of life from the angel, and you see her little hand is up and she's saying, oh, that's good. I got enough in my vessel for the moment. So this card is in our recent past. The position of the past is reminding us that this is important into our present, into our future going forward. This card of balance, of knowing when to kind of put the brakes on or stop or ask for a pause or just say, hey, not right now. This is important to us right now. We need to be able to do this going forward. We need to do this for ourselves, for our right relationship within, as well as our relationship to life outside, because we cannot bring our good to life if we are depleted or empty. And so it's very important for us to take care of ourselves, especially for women. I'm not saying that men don't deplete themselves in service to life. They certainly do. But it is also tends to be a programming that we receive as those in the female, that we are needing to take care of everyone. We need to put everybody else's needs first. We put our own at the bottom of the pile. And as a result, we get burnt out. We aren't able to really function or show up or give our gifts in good ways. So this card is just reminding us of all of that. It's like just pay attention to yourself. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to ensure that your tank is full, and then you can flow over into the cups of others and be there for others in good ways. It's a major arcana, so it's an important card. It reminds us that we need to have these considerations in place in order to be of service to life in healthy and happy and productive ways for our good and for everybody else's good. Because once again, we cannot bring our best to life if we are not in a good space within ourselves. The other aspect of the Temperance card, which is also very interesting, is the energy of verification. So this higher octave relates us back to being ourselves, trying on those things that attract us and that inspire us. And as a result of that, we know ourselves better, and we're better able to bring our gifts and abilities out into life. So there's this quality of verification as well to this card, which means giving oneself permission to go towards the things that are our yes and try them, sample them, have an experience of them, see if they feel congruent and aligned within, so that we can then bring that moreness into ourselves and thus into our relationship with all life everywhere. So there's these two aspects. There's this sampling of life quality that goes with this card, but also having healthy boundaries within for ourselves so that we can take care of ourselves properly and adequately and bring good things out into the world through us. The present card, we have the Queen of Wands, lovely energy of fire, the generative potential that exists within all of us. Now, the suit of fire or wands is about creativity, inspiration, and passion. And the Queen is the feminine aspect of that energy, which is more intuitive, which is more flow, which is more responsive rather than planned. So this card is in our present. It's about meeting life from the heart, from the inside out, rising through the energy of who we are, connecting with our enthusiasm, connecting with the enthusiasm that life generates in us, responding to it and moving with it from that more feminine energy, rather than, as we've talked about before, the masculine, which tends to be a little bit more analytical, a little more planned, a little more linear, a little bit more this step, then this step, whereas this is more flow. It's like, okay, this is next and this is next, because you just get pulled through it all. So this is the quality of the energy of the present this week, allowing our feminine inner self, our feminine generative potential to rise and flow with our life and respond to our life. Again, from this foundation of healthy boundaries of self-care, we're much better able to go in the energy of this Queen of Wands direction, so that we are flowing our energy in good ways, responding to life in good ways, because, well, our cup is full and we know where we stand, we know our boundaries, we know where we need to put ourselves forward, but also to pull ourselves back. So that's the present. It's this lovely, as I said, generative quality of energy. It's about bringing who we are to life in response to our enthusiasm, in response to what life is calling us towards and attracting us towards, and flowing, being more feminine in our response to things. The 10 of Hearts, we have the card of success. This is the card of the near future, the quality of what we're moving towards. And so this lovely energy, we have these people who are celebrating together. There's this quality of community, of people coming together and being more together, enjoying life, celebrating the achievements or the attainments or the good things that we've been enjoying together. So this is a lovely card, this energy of coming together. And it's interesting because, of course, we have to be balanced within ourselves, have healthy boundaries so that we can take care of ourselves and show up and give our good to life so that we can bring our best forward. And as a result, life can meet us and see us and compensate us for the good energy that we've put out. Because it's the cyclical energy, who we are and what we share with the world is always coming back to us amplified. So it's one reason why we need to be very mindful about what we are putting out in the first place, because it's coming back to us. So if we have an attitude perhaps where we're complaining a lot and we're not celebrating the good or being grateful for what we have, but we're just looking to not be satisfied or not be fulfilled or looking for the flaws in another person or in ourselves, then that is what's going to come back to us amplified. We're going to see more of that. And until we knock that off, that's going to continue. that's where this, being mindful and intentional and present to ourselves, who we're being, how we're being, what we're paying attention to, is really, really important. Because we are called to be masters. I mean, the queen is here. The queens and kings represent mastery of the suit. In this case, it's that generative potential, that creative energy that we each have within us and that we're here to bring to life, because that's life force energy flowing out and through us into the world in new forms. But this is very, very important. This self-care piece, this capacity to be healthy and happy and balanced and do what we have to do on the planet. And then leading to this beautiful quality of co-creative celebration with others, coming together with others of like mind and appreciating and loving who we are and what we're contributing and who we are together and how we're contributing in beautiful ways to the planet. There's a lot on the planet that is causing division energy, and so we need to rise above it and come together, because our energies, our individual, beautiful, honed, crafted, lovely energies, our talents, our abilities, who we are as unique individuals, congruent and aligned and healthy and balanced, coming together with the same in others is powerful. It is how we are going to move forward together in evolution as humanity at this time. So it's just all of the pieces are here to help us understand how important it is for us to have this self-care, to be healthy and happy, to be lined up with our yes, to be moving always towards our yes, and coming together with others of like mind, which is when we follow our yes, we find the other people we need to be working with, the opportunities, the relationships, all of that is part of that flow and that picture of moving towards our highest enthusiasm and celebrating together, expressing gratitude together, holding the field of gratitude as a collective. It's powerful when we do it alone, but imagine when we do it as a group. So just being aware of that energy this week, and if you're coming together with friends or family or co-conspirators in your creative endeavors or people that you share time with, perhaps pull in the energy of gratitude. Be intentional about it personally, but perhaps introduce it to the concept to the group and just say, hey, let's take a moment to just kind of like at Thanksgiving, what are we grateful for? And bringing that energy of gratitude to your meeting or your gathering, whatever that may be, because again, it just amplifies the good that's there and pulls more towards it. That wheel of fortune that we've seen recently, it's that quality of what we, as we sow, so shall we reap. So being very mindful of that energy that we're generating, being masterful about it. The foundation card, why we're having the reading this week, we have the Four of Pentacles, the possessiveness card. I like to call this the card of contraction. We have this individual, she's sitting here, she's naked, she's on her pile of goodies, and she's got them clutched to her chest. She's very afraid somebody's coming. She's looking over her shoulder furtively. Somebody's coming to get her goodies. So when we're afraid, when we go into scarcity mind, when we go into just that energy of not enoughness or, well, generally just that fear energy, our field just contracts. And of course, contraction makes us smaller. When we're contracted, our energy is like we have a field of energy around us. We are a field of energy. Of course, the densest part is where our body is, but essentially we are a field of energy between particles, etc. And so as we move around in life, our field is interacting with the field of others, which is why sometimes we have those hits of intuition. We pick up on things. We can read the energy in a room. We know when somebody isn't happy. It's because our fields are interacting. It's very simple, really. And when we are triggered and go into a fear state or that contractive place, it's like we become heavier and denser and we become smaller. Our field contracts. And as that density happens, the energy of love and light and the field of goodness, of godness, whatever you want to call it, has a harder time getting in. Not that it can't, but it's just a little heavier, a little denser, a little more difficult for inspiration and intuition and all the qualities of energies that come when we are expanded, the ease, the flow, the telepathy, etc. That gets interrupted when we contract. And so when we're looking out at the world and we see the messages that are coming towards us, which are highly contractive, I would suggest that, if you're still watching the news, you might want to take a pause for a while and just see how your energy field adjusts, how much better you feel, because the field of energy of the news outlets and other things in our society at this time, it causes us to contract, whether intentionally or otherwise. It doesn't really matter. The end result is we become smaller. And as a result of that contraction and smallness, we are not responding, we're reacting. We're not in our bigger, broader, wiser self. We're not bringing the wisdom of our greatness into the present moment. We're coming back to our very small human field. And it's interesting because our human field can be very dense and three-dimensional, or it can be very expanded and, fifth dimensional, or however many dimensions there are. I'm not really knowledgeable about that, but just to talk about it from going to this very dense sort of hard nub of a thing to being expanded. And practices like yoga, qigong, tai chi, getting out in nature, all of these things, practicing a musical instrument, making art, being creative and generative, these things all expand our field. They all expand us into that broader, wiser, gentler state. We've all had experiences of it. When we're lined up, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and it just feels good. That's where we want to be. So this card is in the foundation position this week. So why we're having the reading this week is just to notice when we get contracted and be curious about that. And how do we expand that contraction? Through the breath. Deep breath into that magnificent body and allowing the exhalation to take away the contraction. Just like you're pumping up your field of light and life. You're pumping up this energy field that you really are by bringing energy in. By breathing in, you bring in light, you bring in love, you bring in life force. So it's very, very important to remember this, especially when we have those moments where, of course, it's going to happen because we're human. We contract and we get fearful about something. And it's normal. We can love ourselves anyway. And remember to breathe into it. Breathe into any problem. Breathe into any obstacle. And you know what? Let it go for a while. Go for a walk and breathe deeply out in nature. Take in the sunshine. Take in the fresh air. Let it nourish you and expand your field. Then we become more resourceful and we're able to respond in a more appropriate and congruent manner, lined up with our own hearts and minds and lined up with the highest and greatest good. So this week, as I said, the foundation card is when we're noticing we're contracted, when we notice we're in that fear space or that smallerness of our humanness or our physical humanness, animal humanness, whatever you want to call it, remembering the breath, remembering that we are so much more and that we can be really intentional bringing that moreness into every moment of our experience. So that's the energy for this week. Just remembering, yes, from our past, we know we need to have healthy boundaries. We know we need to know ourselves enough to say no if it's too much, or to just put the brakes on things for a while until we adjust and adapt, and then can bring in more into our field of experience. This Queen of Wands is reminding us to follow our generative energy, to follow our highest enthusiasm, to flow with that energy, and to give it energy and attention in return. Because when we say yes to our yes, we pull more of that towards us. And that is incredibly energizing, enlivening, and rewarding, because our yes is where life wants us. It's life calling us to more life. And sharing with others, bringing the energy of gratitude intentionally into our collective field with others. Practicing gratitude together, not just at Thanksgiving, is really, really positive and supportive for us personally, but collectively as a human field. We can bring through. One thing we can be grateful for is the contrast of this time. Nothing like contrast to make us know what we want, to help us to distinguish what we want from what we don't want. Our challenge is not to keep focusing on what isn't wanted, but to use that as the springboard, as the clarity, as the clearing for what it is that we do want, and to move towards that, again, the yes, with positive enthusiasm and gratitude and appreciation for that contrast, which has helped us. And this, getting curious about our contraction, getting curious about where's our energy and how are we spending our energy? What are we doing with it these days? How are we being about it? And realizing that when we get to that contracted place, we have a tool, the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, break up that pattern, get into the broader field of light and life and love that you really are. And we can do that easily by getting out into nature, breathing deeply, and then we can come back to any challenges, obstacles, or problems that we face with more resilience, wisdom, discernment, and solutions. It's very, very powerful and very helpful. Okay, so that's for this week. Let's pull our card to grow on so that we can carry the energy with us this week positively and powerfully for our good, the good of everyone with whom we work, so we can stay clear and clean and true and authentic and congruent, because that's where our power is. Our uniqueness, our authenticity is our power. And that'll go up and down because, well, yes, we are human, and it's okay, and we know what to do about it. We breathe and get outside, or do yoga, qigong, or tai chi, or any of the other modalities that are out there. Creator, what is it that we most need to know? What is it that we need to gather up from the reading this week so that we can carry it powerfully forward with us, to summarize the energies of the reading of this week for our highest and greatest good, and that of everyone whose life we touch? The inner teacher, the Hierophant, or the Pope in other decks. So this is the inner teacher, the broader, wiser part of us that we all have access to. We're just talking about that. We access that through the breath. We access that through meditation. We access that through going inward, being aligned with ourselves, being in our beautiful bodies. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. And there are many, many ways to access the inner teacher. There is not just one way. Find the way that works best for you. It may be sitting quietly in meditation. And if you are going to do that, I highly recommend you get out and move that beautiful body before you do, because it will ground you. Once you've moved the energy of the physical field, everything will be flowing better, and you'll be able to sit more peacefully and quietly and get into this open, receptive state with more ease and grace. That's why these other practices that we've been talking about, like yoga, qigong, tai chi, etc., are so powerful. It's because they move the field of the body. They bring us back to this beautiful body. They make us very present and aware of this body and allow us to take care of it through gentle movement that opens the energy fields, the meridians of the body, allows the energy to circulate more smoothly. And as a result, we are in a more aligned and congruent space, better able to receive the wisdom and information of the inner teacher. We all have an inner teacher. We all have access to this wisdom that's there. And we need to seek it out. We need to give ourselves space to go and find it. And there's a quality to the energy of the inner teacher that is lofty. The inner teacher is never going to make you go and out and do something that is out of integrity with you. The inner teacher is always leading you to more alignment with yourself, more alignment with the broader, wiser energy of life. It is always harmonious and balanced and congruent. So spending time there is powerfully regenerative and supportive of our good and the good of our relationship to all life, the people closest to us, the people in our communities, and the planet as a whole. So as we're learning to be human in a new way, as we're learning to find ourselves in a new way, our connection to the inner teacher is incredibly supportive at this time. To access that broader, wiser part of us and have more of it in our field at all times can only serve our good and our contribution to life in magnificent ways. So this is our work. This is our work not only this week, but always. To learn to breathe into the broader, wiser field of who we are, to have more love and light circulating through us at any time so that we are responsive to each other and to life, to the information that's coming our way. We're free of the clog of the smaller world, the fear messages, etc. We can rise above it. We can get to that broader, wiser perspective and stay in our hearts and stay, again, light, responsive, positive, and looking for the good, following our yes. That ultimately is our biggest work, is to connect with this and follow the enthusiasm. Our highest enthusiasm in any moment is where our energy will be most aligned and congruent with that of life, so that we can continue to be agents for more love and light on the planet. So our card to grow on this week is the Hierophant, the inner teacher, adopting practices and ways of being that support our connection to our source energy and allow us to have more of it in every moment, in every aspect of our lives. Because ultimately, any meditative practice, any practice that is connecting us to source, the goal of that is to become so familiar with it that it becomes who we are. It becomes our energy field, not something we do a couple of times a week, but something that we are. We hold that frequency. It becomes so familiar. We live it, we breathe it, we walk it out into the world. It becomes us, and we become it more and more. So just consider that this week as we adopt a more observant self-awareness, noticing when we're contracted, practicing our breath and practicing our pattern interrupts, whatever they may be, using our tools to access the broader, wiser part of us. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel when you're in contracted state. Notice how you feel when you're in expanded, connected state. Becoming mindful of it will enable you to call it in more powerfully whenever you do need it. And with that, I invite you to take another nice deep breath and close your eyes. Allowing that information and wisdom to settle within your field. Allowing this information to transform you in wonderful ways. So that knowledge and that power and that awareness is yours to leverage for your good and your highest contribution to life in beautiful ways. Creator, this is your daughter Titania. I want to thank you once again for this opportunity to do this work and be of service to myself and all those who are listening. I'm grateful for each and every one of those who tunes in and brings their attention and energy to these circles of light that we are forming every week so that we can each rise, that we can each be our best and bring our best to the world in good ways and be a clearing for the good, not only within ourselves, but seeing it and acknowledging it and evoking it from each other. At this time on the planet is powerful energy and magic indeed. I want to thank all those who walk with us, who take this journey with us, not only in the embodied levels, but also in the unseen. Those who came before us, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our guardians, our guides, all those who love and care about us. I am grateful for you and thank you for continuing to support us as we take this journey. The reading is at an end once again for this week. I will look forward to seeing you next week. I look forward to hearing how your awareness expands as a result of the distinctions that we are continuing to hold on to and understand and expand around, because it's like a drops into the pond. The pond is getting deeper all the time. The information is becoming more all the time. And it's as we become familiar with the information, we expand as well. We understand more deeply what we're talking about. We become more aware, more conscious, more intentional, and more masterful. And it's an incredible journey that we are all on. And so I'm grateful for you for taking the journey with me, that we may become more together. And as a result, bring that incredible life force and energy to this beautiful planet in service to more life. I wish you a beautiful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Friday. Take good care. Bye for now.